everybody. Today's video finds us over here in Ayutthaya. And what we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at a huge ruin, and it's a free site. You can come over here. We're going to take a look at Wat Kudi Dao. I've been to this temple many times. It's one of my favorite here in the old city. We're east of the island and we're near the train station. This is a little bit of a walk from the train station, but you could come over here if you came to Ayutthaya just for a short time. It's over here by Wat Mayong and a couple other temples in this area. It's what is known as the old part of the area, which was the city of Ayodaya, which they believe, the scholars believe, predates Ayutthaya. It goes back to the 6th century when the Dvaravati settled this area, and then later on the Khmer came here and built a stronghold in this part of the former capital. So we're going to take a look at it. This temple here, they believe, is built early Ayutthaya, and then it was restored in like 1711. There was a King Sai. He was restoring Wat Mayong, and his younger brother stayed at this temple and restored it. It was he later became King Borommakot or something like that. So anyway, we're going to walk through here and we're going to look at the building where the king and all of them stayed, and then we'll go in and we'll see the two main halls and the humongous Sri Lankan style chetty. So let's enjoy this. And when you come in off this road right here. Wat Mayong is over that way, and then there's parking just over here, and the Thais will come here, park, they'll have vans with, they'll come over, take pictures, and then you come into the temple, and all these lottery sale people are right here. And then this is the amazing two-story building. This is kind of the, I don't know what's the best part, but this two-story building is really, really nice. Now here is the outer wall, and it is in fantastic shape. It's just about perfect. There's only a few places where the bricks are missing, like right here. But other than that, it's a great example of what the temple buildings, the walls would have looked like. This is like 63 meters by 256 meters. It's something like that. It's gigantic. And you can see they would have had plaster all around on it, and it would have been whitewashed. And then over there is the perfect arch. So here is the residence. This is where the royals stayed, and it's two-story. And you can see the Persian influence in the windows, and it is just unbelievably nice. You can see the ground floor has a little bit of the plaster, and they have came back in and restored. You can see where they've put the new bricks in right there, and you can see the slits in the bricks, so they would have had like an awning over it so you could have walked around the building. And then we'll go up here. Let's look in the second story, and there's a bodhi tree taking over the corner. They call this building here the Tumnak Kumalian, and it's like 14 meters wide or something like that. And then it's kind of strange. They have just massive amounts of these columns, and they're kind of in some weird places. So you see these, and then there's the entranceway, and then you can come up here. This would have been the second story, and you can see just the number of columns that would have supported the roof. And they're, I don't know why there's two right there in the middle, and then they have like 5 small little columns right there. Kind of a strange layout, but it made sense to them. And you can see the little ledge right there. That would have been the floor going across for the second story. And they're rectangular window openings on the inside, but you can see how they constructed the arch. That's kind of the Persian influence that you see here. This gives it kind of the lotus bud. You can see there's no safety rails, so if you take a bad step, you're going to have a bad time. You'll fall right down. Yeah, this is really great. Let's go down into the building now. Yeah, you can see the temple wall here, just absolutely perfect. And then you can go into the ground floor of this building. So those would have been those kind of faux columns that they incorporated into their architecture. And it would have probably ended in like a lotus flower up at the very top. You can see they've restored this also, but those are all original bricks there. So I don't know how they came in and restored just around the door frame. And then down here. Yeah, and these are those kind of weird columns. I don't know why they were put right here, but they were obviously for some reason, and they had different shapes of these also. Yeah, pretty interesting. And then over there probably would have been like an image and everything. And then the Bodhi tree is taking over this corner. And you can see how it's grown through that window and it's knocking the bricks out. So it's eventually going to cause this building to collapse. They'll have to come back in here and do something with it. All right, now let's go into the main ruin, which is unbelievably nice. Here's the entry gate. You can see the styling. So they had the little images and stuff right there. They carved all these brick. I really love how they did that. Gives it such a cool look. And then we'll go in here, and this is the whole temple grounds. So you see they had the east-west axis of the two buildings. So you had the one building over there, the central chetty, and then the hall over here. And I think this one here is the ordination hall. And then we had smaller chetties all around. Just an unbelievable sight. And like I said, this is free, so you could just come over here and walk around at your leisure. You don't have to worry about paying, and there won't be any crowds here. I believe this one here is the ordination hall. Now, it was renovated in 1711, so you can see that they boated in the middle. That would have been the late Ayutthaya styling. And then what they've done is they've came back in, they've closed off every other window to keep the structural integrity of this wall, just because it's so massive, and it's missing the cross beams that would have kept it supported up. And then it still has some of the plaster work down across the bottom, and you can see some of the restoration that they've done here. And then this would have looked just like the entry gates that you came in. I really like the Ayutthaya styling. It's my favorite temple style that you see in Thailand. I like it so much better than the new ones. So this is the balcony, and you would have seen they would have had the little redented corners. So right here would have gave it a different shape. Most of the stuff you see would have been like an octagon column. Would have had an image right there, and then you have the raised threshold to go in. Now the Buddha would have been facing towards the east, so it would have been facing that way. And I don't know why there's this big pit right here in front of the Buddha. I don't know if this was like water or what this would have been. I have no idea. And then here are all the images. And you can see they're all busted up. They have like the torso here. There's like the legs, another torso. And they were all destroyed, decapitated after the fall of the city. What my favorite part of this temple are these columns right here. I say my favorite part, I really like this temple. But check out how tall and slender they are. And then you see the lotus flowers right on the top. And what's cool is, you come in here, these are round pillars. Some of them will be octagon, these are round. But they made, they made a round column out of rectangular bricks. So they had to carve them all. And the same up there, they had to do the tops of those columns. But really, really cool. And she's over here doing some posing. And then out here on the east side, those are the bases of the Buasima stones. And check out the gate. That's what I was saying. You see the top archway looks just like over the windows and doors. And then this would have been another Buasima stone over here. And then you'll have monks and stuff that will come over here by this tree during the day, and they'll give people the blessings. Check that out. That's so magnificent. Now, the meaning of this temple, Wat Kudi Dao, means Temple of the Star Dormitory, I think. Dao means star. All right, let's walk around and we'll go look at that chetty, and then we'll look at that other hall. And this would have had a wall around the ordination hall also, which would have came up. These probably wouldn't have been arches. They would have been just like a rail there. So here we got a top of a chetty, and then the chetty right behind it, which is an Ayutthaya style with the redented corners again. So this is what those columns would have looked like with the corners. And at one time that was right up there. Now it's down here. Yeah, really a nice chetty. Also, you can still see some of the existing plaster up there. And then this hall is so great. Yeah, it is just cavernous. And you can see up there at the top of the columns where those would have been cross beams that would have tied into the wall and would have gave it stability. Now the chetty would have been a Sri Lankan bell, and it has the walkway you can go around up there. And it would have had the corners also, and it would have had auxiliary chetties all around in the cardinal and the intercardinal directions. And the top is laying over here on the ground. On the north side right here is the top of the chetty. And you can see they just did the restoration right around it. You're not going to move this sucker. It is just absolutely massive. And it's kind of cool because you can see how they constructed these with the different courses of brick and then the plaster work and everything else. They were quite ingenious in the way that they did the bricks. And this would have been a spiral. So this is that little spiral that goes all the way around to the top of it. And then this is a little bit more of it. And then this is at the top of this spire. It would have had kind of a little bell up there. Yeah, it's just a massive thing. And just the amount, they've put in brick pieces also as filler. So, I mean, that's to my elbow right there. That's how thick that plaster was. All right, let's walk up to the little platform now. You can see the plaster work that they did here. That's still all surviving. So this was added during the renovation in 1711, this chetty. So it obviously had some imperfections in it, otherwise it wouldn't have fell down. Now, if no one's around to hear it fall, you gotta ask yourself, did it make a noise? that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound if no one's there? I'm sure it woke up some kind of security guard or something over here. All right, so there were 8 of these small little chetties around. And then you can see here, definitely a clear bell style. And I always wonder how many bricks they used to build this. 100,000, 300,000, I don't know. And then over there is that 2-story building, that first one that we looked at. Yeah, you can see all the plaster work here also. Yeah, just a massive chetty. And then this would have been a smaller one. There's some sandstone Buddha pieces here. And then one or more of the smaller ones. Okay, let's quickly look at that other little building. And we have a cool little Sri Lankan chetty over there also. Yeah, you can see the debris field of all of the chetties and stuff like that that they've just moved over here. So this would have been quite something to see with just probably about 24 of these chetties out here. All right, this is the Wehan. This would have been the prayer hall. And it's another fantastic example of Ayutthaya architecture. Yeah, you can see the styling here across the base. And the same style for these columns. So they would have had a little balcony right here with an image right in the middle. And it's kind of cool how the doors come out with all the brickwork in the front. And then just a massive, massive pedestal for the Buddha and some more of the round columns. And they would have had kind of some smaller, like the disciples out here. That's what would have been on these pedestals. And then you could see the base up there. Yeah, not much to see of it now. Just kind of the bones. Yeah, but what a beautiful view out of here. Now that would have been enclosed before, but it's still pretty cool to see now. And these walls are bowed in just a little bit. Got a bird nest up there. Lots of these big, huge columns. And what's nice is this one here has some more of these. So you can see what they would have looked like on the front of that other building with those redented corners. And what a huge, huge column. Goes all the way up to the lotus up at the top. So these would have all looked like that. There would have been 4 of them across the front here. And then you would have had a Buddha image in this corner, or in the middle here. Actually, there would have been 8 of these columns. So that would have been a heavy roof. Then you see over here we have the tree overtaking that corner, and then another Sri Lankan style chetty right there. What a fantastic ruin this is. You can see the side of this would have been the chetty, and all the other auxiliary chetties and stuff. That's going to finish up our video over here at this Wat Kudi Dao. This is a free site. It's just over here east of the city island near the train station. You could ride a bike over here pretty easy or walk. I've walked from the train station to here, and it's definitely worth your time to come over here. I would recommend it. Come over here, see this one, and then go see Wat Mayong, and you won't be disappointed. These are fantastic ruins over here. It's not as crowded. You see some of the Thais over here, but you don't have the big tour buses and stuff like that. So definitely should be on your itinerary if you have a little bit extra time. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around, and you're notified when I post a new video. And if you know more about this temple than I do, leave me a comment down below. I'll do the best description I can, and you can read a little bit more about it. I always forget to say some things. But anyway, from over here at Wat Kudi Dao, the Temple of the Star Dormitory. Remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.